How on earth do you freeze dry 5 dozen scrambled duck eggs? That is the real question. And I've been searching all over for that answer. I cannot find the answer. So in this video, we're going to find out the hard way. I really like Mountain House pre-made freeze-dried meals. I love them when I go camping and hunting and so forth. I've got a ton of eggs here. My ducks are producing a lot of eggs, and then I was able to get some other eggs from some other people as well. And in total, I have 60 duck eggs here. Now the hard thing with freeze drying is fats and oils do not freeze dry, and they'll still go rancid. And I want to be able to scramble these eggs so that I can make my own basically Mountain House meal that I can take with me up into the mountains when I go hunting and camping. I have a food sensitivity to chicken eggs, so I don't eat a lot of chicken eggs, and the duck eggs are the answer for me. And that's why I raise ducks here at home. So I need to make all of these into scrambled eggs, so I've got tons of scrambled eggs ready to go up in the mountains. So the only solution that I've thought of so far, and if you have a thought on this, I would like you to comment down below, but what I've come up with is, since I can't use oil, tallow, or butter, or margarine for that matter, which is basically just oil, but I can't use any of that in cooking the eggs, otherwise that part will not freeze dry and it will go rancid and it will spoil all of the eggs. So I've just got non-stick parchment paper here, and I've got these 2 big pans because I'm not sure how these eggs will fit, but I just lined it with 1 big sheet of parchment paper, so that way it's liquid tight and it should not need any oil. And if it sticks to the bottom, that's not really a big deal. So I'm thinking I'm gonna mix a bunch of eggs in this bowl. I'll bake it in the oven at 350 degrees for, I don't know, 20 minutes. I don't know how long eggs take to bake in an oven. I've never done this before. And then once it's done, I'll let them cool, shake them off of this, and then I'll mix them up and kind of freeze them so that way they're pre-frozen for the freeze dryer. And then I'm gonna run the freeze dryer off of my Apollo solar generator, and I get to make the whole batch basically for free as far as power goes, and then very little cost as far as feeding my ducks go. And that's gonna be an awesome sustainable system for me. Having them pre-scrambled means that I can just put hot water into it. I don't like the idea of having the raw eggs and having to cook them up, rehydrate them, because I'm going to be up in the mountains. I don't want to be carrying a bunch of cookware with me. That's the idea. That's what we're going to find out in this video, if it works or not. And it's going to cost 5 dozen eggs, because if it does work, I need it to work right away, because I'm going to be leaving for a trip next week, doing a solar install, and my wife's got more eggs than she can handle with all these ducks. And so I need to make these disappear, and we can't just keep stacking them up. So let's find out together how well this works. I'm going to set this to 350 because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm going to start cracking eggs. So here's the deal with duck eggs. They make 1.5 times the amount of nutrients as a chicken egg. So for every gram of protein or zinc, magnesium, whatever things are in chicken eggs, duck eggs are just 50% more than that. And you can see they are sizably different. But other than that, they taste, smell, look pretty much the exact same. I'd say the only difference is the yolk sometimes is a little bit creamier, definitely a little thicker, and the whites are a little thicker. I'd say generally speaking, ducks are a little bit harder to raise than chickens, only for the mere fact that they are water birds, waterfowl. So they need access to water, and then during the winter, when it's wet or snowy here, that can be a little difficult. So I've just built them a new duck house where I will be able to keep them warm and comfy all winter long, and they can be able to do lime powder baths all winter long. One of the cool things about eggs is as they are laid, they are pretty much shelf stable. They have a special coating that goes on the eggs as they come out, and that coating dries and hardens, making the eggshells non-porous, so that way oxygen can't get in. Oxygen can't get in, the bacteria can't grow. So they can sit on the shelf unwashed and everything quite easily for many months. But because ducks are dirtier than chickens generally, I like to wash my eggs and then refrigerate them because I don't like them being that dirty. Here's 1.5 dozen. I chose my mixing bowl that has straight sides to it because I don't want these eggs flinging out everywhere. So let's see how well this works. Time to scramble. With younger ducks, they will have eggs a little bit closer to chicken size, but they're still a bit more densely packed with the nutrients. If you want to be able to run your freeze dryer 100% off of solar, just shoot me an email to info@poweredportablesolar.com. The best solution for that I have found, I have used the EcoFlow Delta Pro, the Bluetti AC500, the Titan Solar Generator, the MPS3K, EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. I've pretty much tested all of them out there, the Mango Power E, all of the big ones that would theoretically have enough power to do a freeze dryer. Unfortunately, I've not found that it's very easy to do it all. You pretty much have to have a perfectly clear sunny day, and whatever you're freeze drying really needs to be able to be done in one day. And the last batch I did took 36 hours, so it's not always feasible to get it done in less than 24 hours. With my Apollo solar generator, the setup that I'm going to be testing it on again, I've already done a video on how I ran a bunch of stuff off my freeze dryer, but I'm going to be doing it again where I have two Apollos and they're connected together in parallel, which means it's all 120 volt power, and I've connected them together so that they can output up to 6,000 watts, but I'm not using that. But the thing is, they load share their energy together, and then I have two expansion batteries. So two Apollos, two expansion batteries gives me 21.5 kilowatt hours. That's 21,500 watt hours of battery capacity. So if you want to be able to freeze dry with a solar setup that's portable, mobile, that you can take with you in an emergency, then you're going to want to go to poweredportablesolar.com. I'm going to help you find out which option is going to work best for you. And the Harvest Right large freeze dryer uses 240 volt power, and you can do that with two Apollos. So whether it's a small, medium, or large freeze dryer, the Apollo is the one to go with because it has up to 4,400 watts of solar input. It's the highest solar input out of any other system out there on the market. Yesterday, I took another dozen eggs and made a bunch of egg salad sandwich stuff. So I had 6 dozen duck eggs. We're getting about 4 to 5 duck eggs a day. We don't eat eggs every single day, so they do build up quickly. I really have no idea how long this is supposed to cook. I'm going to put a timer for 15 minutes, but I'm going to be checking it every 5 minutes or so and see how it turns out. While those are going, I'm going to prep these, which are the trays for freeze dryer. These are ready, set them aside for when the eggs come out. It ended up going in for 30 minutes. It's still pretty hot right now. Definitely looks like a yoga mat. Let me just rip a piece here. But it comes right off of this parchment paper, no problem. That's about the thickness that I want. So this is perfect. As I go to put this in the tray, it's gonna be pretty much at the same level as the top of the tray, which means I'm still gonna be able to get really good airflow over the eggs as they're freeze drying. So I didn't add any salt and pepper, which I probably would have added now that I think about it, because I always like salt and pepper on my eggs. So I'll change that in the future. But I think what I'm gonna do is, if I measure this right, yeah, I should be able to just cut this right down the middle and take this and plop it in there. Let's just give this a try here. Look at that. Look at that yoga mat of eggs. Jeez. Now there is gonna be fat in the eggs themselves, so I don't know how that works as far as it freeze drying, but people freeze dry eggs normally all the time, so I can't imagine that's an issue, but it's not butter or oil. So this doesn't even fill up the whole tray. Either way, that's gonna be easy. It would probably help if I broke this up into chunks. Otherwise, this middle piece is going to take forever to freeze dry. So I'm going to do that. right, so after breaking it up, it actually takes up the whole tray, and I'm going to get much better airflow in here, which means everything should freeze dry pretty evenly. Well, this worked out perfectly. I got 4 trays completely full here. The cleanup is just pulling these out, and there is water down in the bottom of this from all the steam that came off the eggs. So that's gonna be a really easy cleanup. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the freezer for now. That way they're extra cold. That way when they go in the freeze dryer, they don't take as long. Here are my pre-frozen eggs. Let's slide them right into here. From my understanding and what I've experienced as I've done freeze drying is if you pre-freeze most foods, that it actually helps the freeze drying cycle go faster. Then it doesn't have to freeze it and then freeze dry it. All right, I just gotta wait 24 or 36 hours, something like that. It's 8:30 at night, and I'm now running on my Apollo solar generators. Right here, so I've got these 2 units linked together with these 2 expansion batteries. So total I have 21.5 kilowatt hours. On the solar, I've got 4,000 watts of solar input. These are linked in parallel, which means I can output 50 amps. I won't be doing any of that or anything close to that on this test. Then you can see my other 2 that are over there. Very soon in an upcoming video, I'm gonna be linking all 4 of these together and running the whole house, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you're interested in a solar setup like this, the only setup that can run a freeze dryer truly, then email me at info@poweredportablesolar.com or visit poweredportablesolar.com, go to the kits, and from there you can find exactly what system, complete with panels, cables, everything, to be able to run a freeze dryer. You can see according to the timer here, been going in the drying process for 10 hours now. And you can see that even though I only have things plugged into the outlets here, and this one's the freeze dryer, and there's nothing plugged into the outlets over here, batteries have shared the load, and we're at about 45%. So we've used about 11 kilowatt hours. And so we're using roughly 1.1 kilowatt hour per hour to run this freeze dryer. It's been an hour and a half, and we're at 61% on here. So we've come up like 16, 17% in an hour and a half. This should be fully charged here in a couple of hours while running the freeze dryer, which is pretty incredible. This has been going for 19 and a half hours, starting at 8:30 last night. You can see how they look inside here. They look really good to me. They're not rounded like Mountain House, but they look good. And the Apollo setup is 100% charged here, 100% charged here, all while running this load in addition to my freezer and a fridge and a security system, and I've got Wi-Fi and stuff like that all on that extension cable. I put the finished product in these bags in the meantime just to kind of keep the moisture off of them, but these are really, really good. I've had multiple people try them now, and they taste exactly like eggs. Who would have thunk, right? But that's one of the beauties of freeze drying, is you can get it to taste exactly the same. Duck eggs have like an extra rich creaminess to them that I really like compared to chicken eggs. It doesn't make chicken eggs bad. I just really like duck eggs, and I'm glad that I'm able to eat them since I can't eat chicken eggs. So the last thing I gotta do is weight all of it, divide it by 60. That's gonna tell me roughly how many ounces or grams or whatever per egg is freeze dried here. And then I'll be able to separate that into 3 eggs in a meal or whatever. I'll probably end up adding turkey sausage and some really low fat cheese, as well as like freeze dried onions, bell peppers, dehydrated hash browns, stuff like that. I wanna put all of that into a mylar bag that's 100% vacuum sealed, ready to go, and make my own Mountain House meals that are good to go for the mountains. I am very, very excited for this. And then the last part will be testing how much water to add. The beauty of that is you basically boil a bunch of water, add a bit. If it's not enough, add a bit more. Not enough, add a bit more. And then you kind of figure it out. So I'm looking forward to that. If you want to get the best deals on Harvest Right freeze dryers, click the links down below, as well as getting the best deals on any solar generators. Anything that you purchase through the links down below goes to help the channel. It doesn't cost you anything more. In fact, it usually saves you money. And then in addition to that, I get a small commission, which helps support the channel so I can make videos like this for you. If you appreciate that, just use the links. Email me at info@poweredportablesolar.com if you have questions about the solar setup. This is one of the ways that I choose to be prepared. This is an easy option. I can even keep meals in my truck or in vehicles or wherever, stashed in caches or whatever, so that way I know I've got food sources all around me all the time. Thanks guys, be prepared. See you on the next video.